Good evening, everybody. Had just finished up a weekend with a great group of people. A 2-day private training session, which is always great. Got a lot of good people in this room. All right. Hope everybody's having a nice, pleasant spring evening. We're having a nice evening here in Pittsburgh. Oh, you know, Don, I didn't take any pictures. Usually we take pictures because we're standing out next to the lake. But we didn't get any pictures. Oh, there you are, Raging Cajun. I was just looking to see if you had gotten home safely. Except I don't see you signed in. That's what I was looking for. That's right. Raging Cajun might be your next instructor. All right, so simple trend analysis. We saw the bullish harami on Thursday in the Dow. And then we saw the bullish confirmation on Friday, closing above the T-line. And look what they did today. The not so unusual. They consolidated, did some profit taking, but look where they stayed. They stayed up above the T-line in the Dow. And the NASDAQ, there's your bullish harami. Remember, anytime you see a signal in a multiple pattern, anytime you see a doji in a multiple pattern, it usually acts more significantly as an indicator. So they had a doji, harami, gap up, consolidated today. If they open these markets tomorrow, sound is fuzzy. How about that? Is that any better? No? Talk more. Did I change the volume or what? A bit loud? Okay, let me. How about now? What's that sound like? All right, it may have been because I just plugged it into a different socket when I got back here. All right, so the analysis of the market trend remains pretty simple. That if they open this positive, a doji day or a doji, the doji rule, the gap up best friend, followed by kind of potentially a doji sandwich, tells us our uptrend is in progress. Oh, Bill, I never beware of anything. I just do what the market tells us it's doing. So let's take a quick gander at crude oil. Seems to be holding up pretty steady up here in the, is that above $66? Yeesh. Just a yuck there. All right, and the grains have been whipping around. So starting to go long again on wheat. Corn was, you can see where it sold off right back to the 34. A lot of people ask, why do you have the 34 on your chart? Why is that significant? Because over in the commodity trading area, it seems to work extremely well, or not extremely well, relatively well. So it's the type of thing where if you don't have a whole heck of a lot on your chart, adding one that seems to work well doesn't really clutter up the chart any. Okay, so let's go through some of the charts we've been working on. Raging Cajun was AJ Welder going to come in? The green line is the 3 exponential moving average, yes. Which works in conjunction. Oh, we're not long on corn now. But watching this, because it's bouncing off the 34, it's probably starting to head back up. So if we were trading this, we'd be trading it on the basis that it's probably coming back up toward the T-line after bouncing off the 34. Stochastic's coming up. So it's not that you, especially in the commodity area, it's not that you wouldn't be, or that you wait for it to close up above the T-line, because that's a significant profit to go from here to the T-line. And I think the same thing, you can see the doji, the bouncing off the 34, a contract moving up to the T-line is basically, if you have $2,300 per contract, that's basically a $1,000 profit moving up to the T-line area. Okay, so let's take a look at a few that we've been working on. Oh, we're on this one. The fry pan bottom breakout on VTRS. This is the type where when they gap it up and head up above the, or continue a positive after the doji, you just stay long. Notice not only is it staying above the T-line, but this is where the 3 T-line works a little bit more effectively, telling you your uptrend's in progress. We came back into new core, because look at your classic pattern. Fry pan bottom, hold right back to the T-line, bullish harami. Now, even though the bullish harami isn't in the oversold area, it still gives the same information. When they pulled it back and did a bullish harami, especially on the T-line, I told you the selling had stopped. Now get ready for your J-hook pattern. And if we got a J-hook pattern, what's our price objective? There's wave 1 going into wave 3. The reason we were recommending OSS, it's not quite the same on here. This is more of an inverted hammer on TC2000, but it's still a best friend signal gap up. Where do you think your next likely target's going to be? At least up here. So there's been very strong signals. The reason we recommended GIVO today, was the kicker signal. Now remember, the kicker signal is your strongest reversal signal. an individual candlestick signal. Opens here, closes here, red candle, gaps up above the previous day's open and goes positive. Now, a kicker signal can occur anywhere in a trend. You don't have to have the doji, or not the doji, the stochastics in the oversold area. If you see a kicker here, that's good, especially right off these moving averages. But even if you're up in the overbought area and you see a kicker signal, tells you there's going to be more upside. So we saw kicker signals in GIVO, and there was other kicker signals, and I can't remember what they are. I'll get down to them. But the other derivative, I guess, of a kicker signal is the trend, or the bullish flutter kicker signal. It gives, the fact that it did it right off the 200 just adds more credence to the that's where that kicker signal is. The kicker signal in itself is strong. It's the that's the other one. Thank you, Connie. Trying to think of now I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the fact that it bounced right off the 200-day moving averages lends a little bit more credibility. There's a bullish flutter kicker signal in bingo. So we were buying calls on Friday on the close with the prospects that when they gap up and do a doji above the previous day's open, the likelihood of a bullish flutter kicker in progress is extremely strong. So buying the calls is a high probability trade setup that if they trade positive on the next day, then you've got your bullish flutter kicker in progress. And the alert that the bullish flutter kicker is working is the fact that they did gap it up and then do a doji. So it was Codex was the other one that did a kicker signal. Now, so here's your simple trade analysis. You have a kicker signal. It came up through the T line. Today it traded, but it consolidated right back to the T line. So if you're looking at this saying, all right, had a kicker signal, they did some profit taking, and what told us that the support level was going to remain as support? That's kind of a redundancy. What told us that the bulls are still in control? Because they came right back to the support level of the T line and traded back up. So what becomes a very high probability trade setup? If this opens positive tomorrow and does a doji sandwich after a kicker signal, you're going to be in a positive trade right from the get-go. Yes, an XSPA was the same scenario. Look at your kicker signal. Now, a true kicker signal shouldn't have a tail to the downside, but it doesn't hurt dramatically if it does, because you still have the same visual. They opened here, closed here, they gapped it up and went in this direction with a little profit taking from the beginning and did a doji. So you could be buying this one on positive trading. But if I already saw correctly tonight, it's already trading up here in this range, which means do you chase it? And the answer is, if they're doing a kicker signal followed by a doji sandwich, you buy it because there's going to be a lot more upside, especially if they're gapping it up and doing a gap up doji sandwich. So this is the visual evidence that we can apply to our charts to say, all right, we've got strong reversal and they're still coming in strong. That's exactly where we want to be. We also can identify the breakout levels. Hecla. Look at your Morningstar signal. When it opened positive today, what was it telling us? It was going into wave 3. And ET has that same setup. This is your classic fry pan bottom, J-hook pattern, and look where it broke out on Friday up here. And then now what do you have? Kind of a doji sandwich setup. So what's that tell us? Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 is likely in progress. Nimrod, same type of setup here. You've got a J-hook type pattern. And what gives us that further evidence that you're in a J-hook type pattern? The fact that they couldn't ever close it below the T-line. So we went after this. Raging Cajun, was this the one you were asking about this morning? Chris? But this is the information alert. Huge gap up. Profit taking. Profit taking come to an end. Now the bulls have stepped back in. What do we got prospects of here? A J-hook pattern that could take you up like that again. So, well, I bought some CPRX on Friday at the close because we can see what type of pattern is going to have your slow curve, fry pan bottom, breakout through this level. And there was, let's see, what was the other one? There was a CRISPR. And that's a good chart. I don't know. Okay, so anyways, the patterns work. I mean, this is look at Cressy. When it broke out, then it pulled right back here. What was it doing? There's your classic pattern, J-hook pattern. You stay long on this one. So we're watching. There's another J-hook pattern setting up. Again, this one in FCCO. So they've done the profit taking, the Morningstar signal. Good possibility that this wave is about ready to occur on this one. LBRT, where's the breakout level? Right there. What can we see? We're buying down in here. Look at your little bullish flutter kicker J-hook pattern. Wouldn't be buying here because there's no reason to, but would be buying here even higher than this because you can see the pattern setting up from at this level. So this is why knowing what the patterns are telling you tells you when you shouldn't be buying, but then when you can be buying again when the probabilities are starting to improve dramatically. And IGT was another one we picked up because of the kicker signal followed by a doji sandwich coming out of this big fry pan bottom. I say big fry pan bottom. Fry pan bottom. And where did this doji sandwich execute? Right there at the breakout level. What's that imply? We could be in a very strong uptrend. Now, when I say we could be in a very strong uptrend, that's what the purpose of oh, I forget which one it was. What was the? We had a. I can't even remember. But when you come out of patterns, you have the possibility of big, huge, steady uptrends. No, not OCGN. It was, now I can't even remember. It did it. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Memory like a sieve. So back here, when it came out of, when this one came out of that fry pan, or not fry pan bottom, but scoop pattern, it had the possibility of a good, strong uptrend. In this case, that probability worked out very well. So will all trades work like this after a pattern? Definitely not. But the probabilities of being in that breakout. Bert doesn't mean a hill of beans. There's no uptrending resistance line. If you were in this one, were you in an uptrending resistance line? It didn't matter. It's not the how do we do that? It could be an uptrending resistance line, but what's the current evaluation? You're coming out of a fry pan bottom. That's just a possible spot. This is our analysis. 2 plus 2, a fry pan bottom breakout with a kicker signal, followed by a doji sandwich breakout. What's our knowledge of a fry pan bottom? There's usually a very strong price move. So here's where the probabilities start going against you. If you were short and you saw the doji in the oversold area, made it very simple. You close this out on positive trading, especially if it came back up through the previous day's high on the doji. Retta was another one. If you were short, doji, positive trading in the oversold area, is that the best place now as far as probabilities? You close out the trade and find someplace something better. The biggies, Amazon, what happened here? You can see the kind of the bullish harami, bullish trading. So Amazon, look where all the positive trading is occurring, right here at the 200 and the 50. Apple, having a little bit of trouble getting up through the 50. Now, if this opens positive tomorrow, that tells us these gap ups off the 200 through the 50 tells us we're still more upside. So I'm not trading the biggies right now because they don't have very good chart patterns. You're seeing lots better charts in other areas. Wouldn't be trading Netflix one way or the other. Nothing there. Nvidia, nothing great here either. And Tesla. Tesla might be trying to support down here on the 200-day moving average area. But none of those big ones are really intriguing. There's a lot better chart patterns that we can recognize, like the J-hook pattern in Nucor, or Bingo doing a bullish flutter kicker signal. That's giving you a lot more indication of where the strength is coming in, which is not in the big ones right now. Okay, what else? Oh, so the kicker signals. GVO is good. Higher kicker signal. Where's the likely target on this move? Probably right back up to the top of the channel and maybe starting a 45 degree from there. AVIR. Little kicker signal back up through the T-line. What did that tell you about your downtrend? They're gapping it up doing a kicker signal. Where do you think your first likely target's going to be? Right here filling the gap, which would probably coincide with the 34. Yeah, I saw you had pulled up 10 earlier. That's a nice J-hook pattern. CVAC, kicker signal right off the 50. Probably in wave 3 at this point. CVM did a bearish kicker signal. Where do you think the next likely target should be? Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. So if you want to have a short position in these market conditions, just so you're not 100% long, that would probably be a good one to go after. And there was a kicker signal on CDE. Look where it broke out, right there on a kicker signal, breakout through the 50. That probably has more upside. And there's your bullish flutter kicker signal coming out of a fry pan bottom, right at the breakout level. This is your convergence analysis. Bullish flutter kicker, fry pan bottom, up through the 50. You want to definitely be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. TGLS. There's another J-hook pattern. So these are the type that if it's not a J-hook pattern, when they broke out with this big bullish move, the best friend signal, look for your 45-degree off of here. Now the sector that's acting strong right now obviously is the gold and silver sector. Look at your J-hook pattern off the 50 with a little kind of trend kicker signal. On Gatto, haven't even looked at the other. Look at AU just gapping up. Ego, Morningstar signal, gap up. So there's a lot of the gold and silver stocks that you could be going after. Oops, I missed that whole sector. Showing all the J-hook patterns. And look at your gap up a nugget through the 200. Yeah, did we do MAG? That one's working. Wampum. There's your bobble breakout. More upside. Well, the one in copper is your SCCO. That's the only one I'm familiar with which is copper. GPC, another J-hook classic type pattern. This one can be bought on positive trading tomorrow. And BGFV, very revealing, I guess, visual revealing J-hook pattern. This one can be bought on positive trading tomorrow with no problems. Chris, we did. Could be a strong J-hook pattern. And oops, yeah. LPI. Oh, LPI. Observe the obvious. Bounced off the 50, broke out to this level, broke out to this level. J-hook pattern. Harley. Out of your little scoop J-hook. CEIX. Another good-looking J-hook pattern. A lot of people have been following Sava. Look where it closed today. If it opens positive, what do you have? Kind of your bobble breakout J-hook. Where would you buy this one? On any positive trading. Kind of broke out through that level. That should tell us there's more upside. Let's see, we did wampum, we did, MMX, that row. There's your fry pan bottom type pattern, breakout. I would suspect we're upside on this one. RLX, you can see that fry pan bottom right here at the 50. If this breaks out, where do you think the next likely target will be? Filling this gap up in this range, giving you about a 80% upside potential. So this is why we can use the term 2+2, because if we can see this fry pan bottom right at a resistance level that everybody else is watching, knowing that if it goes positive, it's breaking out into this gap area, that's where we can identify where the big price moves are likely to occur. We did the bullish flutter kicker, but here's that 2+2. Look at in Funko. There's your bullish flutter kicker. Confirmed today. And where did it confirm? Right there at the breakout level. Makes this very simple. If they open this positive tomorrow, you've got a nice fry pan bottom J-hook pattern breakout. So the breakouts are obvious using candlestick signals. A Morningstar signal, positive open, going into new territory. ET, another one. When it opened positive, J-hook pattern breaking out into new territory, confirming your classic pattern. MTA, where do you think everybody was watching as far as a resistance level? Then you had a little left-right combo breakout. What's that imply? There's a new investor sentiment on this one. It's likely to go much higher. BCRX, same scenario. Now, how did that line get over onto this chart? Kind of broke through this resistance level, or even broke through this resistance level. Telling you there's probably more upside. ESI, that is a good classic, yes. Wave one coming out of that bobble breakout. Bullish engulfing signal. Look for wave three. And if wave three is the same magnitude as this, what's it tell us about this breakout area? You're going up into new territory. Would you enter on a 10-minute chart as soon as it closed above the breakout level on MTA? Yeah, you probably wouldn't have to use your 10-minute chart. As soon as it opened positive and started going through this level, yeah, you could start buying. Another good classic pattern on CF. Okay, what do we got? Surf. Out of your breakout, look for this one to trade positive. And Recon. If this opens positive, where are you? New territory. Yes. So there is a lot of good charts out there, which now, remember a couple weeks ago, or maybe even a week ago, I was saying when you did your scans, you could find very few good bullish charts. That meant the bearish charts were probably showing much better prospects, which was a indication that the market was probably selling off. First we can see the candlestick patterns, and then with additional confirmation that if you can't see any good buy signals, that means there's not a whole lot of buying going on. But then when you start seeing bullish signals in the market, as well as you can see plenty of good bullish charts, that tells you there's a lot of bullish sentiment occurring. So there's your bullish Harami. And a gap up. This is one of the things we are pointing out this weekend. And if you see any signal followed by a gap up, that's just good confirmation that not only did they stop the selling, but now they're coming back in with great enthusiasm, and that's exactly where you want to be buying. Dillard's, bullish Harami, gap up. Starts a very strong uptrend. There was another one. Another retail stock that had a strong move. There's a bullish Harami on PCT. You get ready to buy this if it comes up through the T line. Lev. How can I miss 3 letters? That just doesn't make any sense. Now remember, if you see a bullish Harami as a doji, that may have been it, that's even more compelling. There's been a change of investor sentiment. So there's your bullish Harami, doji, gap up. This one probably has the prospects of coming back up toward the 50. There's not a good signal on Macy's. Maybe it was, yeah, there's your bullish Harami, gap up on Nordstrom's. Did I do ZEP? It doesn't have information on the chart there on this one. IBRX, another bullish Harami, gap up through the 200, back up through the T line. So if this opened positive tomorrow, what's it doing? It's confirming all this and telling you this little resistance level is not acting as a resistance anymore. And VERX, oh, so this is a Harami. It's in his inside day. But the technical term is homing pigeon, which is that this candle right here is the same color as that candle. But it still requires the same confirmation. It needs to open positive and trade positive the next day. Is this, what is it, this? No, what the heck was I writing? Well, for crying out loud, I can't even read my own handwriting. All right. Over on the other chart, this was actually an inverted hammer, but it doesn't really matter because if it's an inverted hammer doji gap up, no matter what you call the signal, it's still telling you there's very strong buying coming into this one. And BLCT, there's your inverted hammer. Now the reason we point out an inverted hammer is through the years, and this is just my statistical observation, is the fact that anytime you see a positive open and positive trading after an inverted hammer, you've got a 95% or greater probability that you're going to be in a good uptrend. So there's your little inverted hammer bullish confirmation on GP. An AFMD. This is what we call observe the obvious, a bullish engulfing left-right combo right smack dab on the 50. That's an extremely high probability reversal. The fact that you did a strong buy signal right at the same level everybody's watching, the 50-day moving average. So if this opens positive, this becomes also a very high probability trade setup. So lots of good trades going on. Let's see. Oh, this was lower earlier, but you can see why this is still a good short. Look at your evening star signal after a dark cloud, and then a breakdown, then a failure at the 50. If this trades lower, you can pretty obvious it's coming back to the 50-day moving average. And Dollar General, there's your bearish left-right combo followed by a gap down. Now it's not even showing that it's trying to support here at the 50. If this opens lower, you probably got a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 to the downside. So anyways, that's lots of good charts out there. Just the stars right now that I've got next to trades is CEIX, good probability of a J-hook pattern. SLS, a bullish flutter kicker fry pan bottom breakout of the 50. And RLX, another breakout of the 50 with lots of running room, big gap area, good upside potential. All right, so there is enough good-looking stock out there to be pretty confident that we're still. There's some very good trade setups. I would still be a buyer of Nimrod. Look at your Morningstar signal bouncing right off the T-line. Big move. Look for another big move. All right, so is there any general questions on candlesticks? And the reason I'm pointing out a lot of these good positive trades is if you follow the candlestick charts, follow the signals and patterns, and you're going after the strong trades, the probabilities make it, or it makes the probabilities of being in a good trade that much better, and not only in the right direction, but the prospects of being in a big, huge upside move is greatly in your favor. Okay, so if there's no new questions, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 4.2 seconds, do the next double line. Tech, nice J-hook pattern. Veil. We want to see a little bit more confirmation that they're going to come back up on that J-hook pattern. Jemiah was running into a little bit of trouble, but starting to come back up. Notice your belt hold piercing signal. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading. Look at your kind of your doji gap up confirming. So if it opened positive, what's it telling you about this? They're breaking out or trying to break out through that downtrend. IDEX, best friend type signal. You could be buying this one. So all you want to really be aware of is kind of a resistance level right here. You definitely want to see it get up through that level. QuantumScape still having a hard time getting out of its own way. I'd still be a buyer of this more for the longer term if and when they can do a good buy signal up through the T-line. Romeo, if it's like all the other oils, should be starting to show some strength. And there are some good oil stocks out there doing J-hooks. There's Enron. There's Apache. Don't know what Occidental is doing. Occidental trying to come back up. ExxonMobil. There's your classic pattern. Pitney Bowes. Nothing there yet. You could be buying this one. How does this get up right here? Just watch to see what happens when you get to the congestion area at the 50. Nice fry pan bottom breakout. That's a good looking chart, FT. It was good to have you here, CG. Thank you for all your help today. That made my life much easier. Did I do this wrong? CTRX. For some reason, it's the darn raccoons are out fighting for birdseed outside my door. Nothing great here on Mac, but you're getting right in here at the breakout level. You can be buying this one on strength. DuPont, J-hook pattern classic. CMC, another J-hook pattern potential breakout. ELPN. Nothing great on this one just yet. You could be buying this on the double bottom, looking for it to come back up into that range. Bingo, I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on strength because of the bullish flutter kicker signal. At least expecting it to come back up to test the 50-day moving average. Callaway, stay long. Ford, you could buy this one if it comes up through the 50. AMGN, nothing there yet. Boy, kind of junky. It's trying to do a J-hook pattern. Definitely would like to see it come back up through the two highs here in the last couple of days. And Tupperware, just stay long. TTCF. Another one you could be buying if it comes up through the 34, breaking this little downtrend, and just see what it does at the 50. AT&T had a big, huge bearish engulfing left-right combo. It's not a very energetic one to ever trade, but more than likely they're taking it down after that signal. THC, another nice J-hook pattern setup. The spread on AMC, well, you're running into a little bit of problem once it gets up to this level. Yeah, I probably now wouldn't pay attention to it until it breaks out through that level. You're starting to see a little bit of indecision and that resistance level. I'd want to see it get through that resistance level. Ride. You could be buying this one. Want to see it break this downtrend. Futu. Nothing of any great consequence here. If I had my druthers, I'd be someplace else. I wouldn't be short anymore, but I wouldn't be going long just yet. And Clovis. Nothing real exciting on that one, Joey. Gamestop looks like it was trying to do a little scoop type pattern. You could be buying this one if it starts breaking up through the 50. And APPH is doing that best friend off the bullish Harami. You could be buying this one. Xerox, nothing greatly exciting. If you're still stuck in this range, I probably wouldn't pay attention to this until they can get it up through the 50-day moving average. Nothing on this one of any excitement there. It just would tell me that yeah, I wouldn't be short, but I wouldn't be long on this one. CPE, nothing great there yet. You could be buying it, but another one I'd probably be more apt to be going after once it breaks up through that level. And Matador, you can stay long on that one. BTU, big breakout. So now you have to be a little bit careful because look how far away you're starting to move from the T-line. This one, you could still be buying because of the J-hook pattern breakout through the 200. If I was buying it, I'd just use the 200 as my stop until the T-line catches up. That's a good breakout also. Look at your bobble breakout. Too far away from the T-line? Probably if you're going to buy, be buying on strength because of the breakout. But more than likely you might see it waffle around for a couple of days letting the T-line catch up. Vuzi, nothing. Would not be long or short this one. Bib, you could stay, stay long, but look where it's running into trouble. Right there. So if you were long and this one opened lower tomorrow, I'd probably close out the position. Labu, Labu is not doing very much of anything. I better go back to bibbed. Yeah, I guess we were at the, right, okay. Citigroup, fry pan bottom. Now this is, I might not trade this. You could trade it with a fry pan bottom, but I would at least use this as an indicator that the markets are strong as long as the financials stay strong. Same thing with JP Morgan. Is ET still a buy? Mike, I would probably say no, that if you weren't in it already, I would say you stay long, but I wouldn't be buying here. AUPH, which back to Mike, it wouldn't matter if you're not in it. There's dozens and dozens of good-looking charts right now. AUPH, if you're long on this one, JB, you can stay long. You just watch to see what it does at the 50. An app, that's a nothing chart. Nah, I wouldn't be short, but I wouldn't be long. ACTC, that's your bullish Harami gap up. At least factor your first target is at the 50-day moving average. Whoops. It's up big after hours. All right, so that shows you they did break out. It's up to 1549. Let's see where that might be. All right, so it did break out. So now was that on earnings? Quad, that's a scoop. That one you definitely want to take a look at on positive trading. Anytime you can find a scoop pattern setup, you're probably going to have not only an upside, but a strong upside. Halliburton, J-hook pattern, yes. Some of the EVs are coming out. LI is a possible buy. NIO, nothing there yet. And Nikola, you could buy this one on positive trading. DD, I don't know what the no stands for. Oh, I had G-Box also. Double bottom. Oh, no earnings, just up. Nah. Henry, you're probably less concerned about any resistance level. I mean, that's the area I'd look for as a resistance. But my first analysis would be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 is going to take you well up above that level. Okay, markets are surprisingly resilient. The eastern seaboard has 80% of their gas stations closed because of no gas. Biden's talking about raising taxes. Yet the market keeps going up. If post-market decreases for a stock, what are the chances for confirming a good chart the next day? If post-market decreases for a stock, are you asking if the stock is trading lower after hours? What's the prospects for it to trade well the next day? The answer to that is it really doesn't matter where it's trading after hours, because you might have a stock like Apple that trades 14 million shares a day, and after hours it may be 20,000 shares. So that's not going to be indicative of what all the buyers and sellers are telling us. Okay. Had a great group over the weekend. It's fun to be meeting the people that are in here and see who they actually are. Just a great bunch of people. All right, everybody. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. We'll see you then.